Hi everyone! Today I will be looking at the 1/7 scale pre-painted figure of Gekka from Prima Doll, which is a multimedia project by Ki. And I have previously done reviews on both Haizakura and Karasuba as well, so if you'd like to look at those I will leave the links in the description. This is the third figure to come out in this line, and there should be 5 of these coming out. We haven't had the remaining 2 announced yet, but I highly doubt that this project that was originally made in conjunction with Kotobukiya is going to just leave out the last 2 girls, so we should see those soon, hopefully. Each character is designed by a different artist, so Haizakura was by Naga, we had Karasuba by Fujishoko, and this is Gekka, who is designed by Hara Yui. Prima Doll was originally made in conjunction with Kotobukiya, and these figures are a major part of the project. Each of them come with their own SS story and a character song CD. Haizakura actually came with a 12-inch vinyl as well, but the other girls didn't seem to carry that over, sadly, so she is the only one that has that. As I purchased this from the Kotobukiya store, it came with this bonus Shikshi drawn by Hara Yui. And here we have the box for Gekka. On the front it says Shokai Seisan Gentei Ban, which is the first press limited edition version. And I should mention that the SS booklets and the CDs only come with this version of the figure. The normal version of the figure does not come with this outer casing, nor does it come with the bonus items. You can see on the top left corner we have the usual visual art sticker, along with the Prima Doll logo at the front, a photo of Gekka and her name there too. At the bottom we have Kotobukiya and Ki's logo. Each of these boxes have been the same in both size and design. The previous girls had the exact same box, just with slightly different motifs on the front. The previous 2 girls had pink and purple for their colours, but Gekka has been given blue, which I was rather surprised about. I know that obviously she can fly, but I didn't expect the box to be blue. I was quite surprised when this came in the mail and it wasn't yellow. Everything else is completely the same as the previous girls. So we have a photo of Gekka on the side. The back, similarly to the previous 2 girls, we just have some photos of her. And it also mentions what comes inside, so we have both the CD, the booklet, and also the figure. This was sculpted by Takahi, and of course everything was produced by Kotobukiya. And once you have opened up the box, you will see that there is an extra foam case that holds both the SS booklet and the CD. And taking a closer look at the SS booklet, I won't go into too much detail, but these have been included with both of the previous figures as well. And they not only include an extra SS story, but they also include some background on the character and her design, as well as some illustrations drawn by the artist, so in this case it's all by Hara Yui. And we have some details on how she was designed and all of the character roughs. Her backpack is inspired by Tsukimiya Ayu from Canon, since each character is based on a different key character and key game. And we have the other characters, so these 2 already have figures. This is Haizakura and Karasuba, and then the 2 that we are waiting for currently is Hokiboshi and Reitseru, so I'm hoping that we'll see Hokiboshi fairly soon. And then we have an extra bonus short story that was written specifically for this figure. This is of course written by Okano Toya, and it's illustrated by Maroyaka as usual, and the story is called Tsukito Kuroneko. I really like the concept of Prima Doll and the fact that the figures are such a main part of the project, and that they come with their own songs and stories as well. It really adds to the figure, I think. As for the CD, I'm very glad to see that the CD actually came out on time with the figure for this one, since Karasuba's CD did not come out until 2 months later, and it was delayed and it didn't come with the figure itself, it got shipped separately. So that was a bit of a pain. I couldn't show it in the previous video, but this one is Gekka's CD and it did come out on time, so there were no issues here. And this one is called Yoru wo Utau. And here we have Gekka's actual figure box that comes inside the bigger box that I was just showing. The first press editions of these figures come with 2 boxes rather than 1, so the box does become rather large because of that, but it is nice to get all of the bonus content with it. I really like having the extra bonus stories to read after I've unboxed the figure. You can see that the box is very similar to the outer casing. It just has all of the same information as before. The colours and theme is all the same as well. The difference is that you can just see the figure inside the box from the window. And a nice part about this box is that it has a cog on the lid, and that becomes a window, so it allows some extra light into the box. Gekka comes with an instruction leaflet on how to put her together, since she does come with quite a few different parts that need to be attached to the base. And here is how she looks inside the packaging. I'm already really excited to open her, since the quality looks even better than the previous one, I think. Maybe it's just the art style, but she definitely looks really good from what I can see. And she comes with quite a lot of things as well, so I'm very excited to see her all put together. Another thing I should mention is that all of the figures in the Prima Doll series so far all have the same base, it's just the cogs change colour ever so slightly, so I'll be interested to see on how different the colour of the cogs are with this one, since there was a slight difference between Karasuba and Haizakura. And here we have Gekka all put together with the chairs and tables in the back. And I have to say, this might be my favourite of the 3 Prima Doll girls so far. I think this is due to the art style more than anything. Unlike the other 2, rather than their table being next to them on their left hand side, with Gekka the chairs and table are actually behind her, which means the base actually faces a different direction than the previous 2 did. Starting with Gekka herself, this is definitely the better looking of the 3, I have to admit. I think this is due to Harayui's art style being a little bit more simplistic, so straight off the bat this definitely looks a lot cleaner than the first 2 and really accurate to the illustration as well. The eyes, similarly to the previous 2, are just decals that take straight from the artist's work. They've also replicated her way of drawing the blush on the cheeks, which is quite nice since the previous 2 did theirs also to match their respective artist as well. The accessories on the side, everything has been painted very neatly. I don't see any slip-ups there. She looks really cute. I really like the way they've handled the face here, and it looks like Harayui's art comes alive, so that's really nice to see. I'm sure she'll look really nice lined up with the others. The ribbon at the back, this has some nice shading, and the sculpting for this is actually very good as well. And I have to say the seam lines on Gekka have been hidden very well. I don't think they stand out very much at all. They blend into the hair very nicely. Her outfit as well, this has been replicated quite nicely. I do have to say there is slight lack of shading perhaps. The previous girls as well didn't exactly have a lot, but I do think in comparison to Haizakura, she did have a little bit more, but it's not too much of an issue. I just think that in comparison to Haizakura, for example, there is a slight difference there. But the colours that they've gone for with the kimono are perfect. They've really paid attention to the illustrations. And her taiyaki pouch as well, this has been replicated very well. Despite it being slightly hidden under her arm, they've sculpted the whole thing very well, and it looks really cute. And her rucksack, like I mentioned earlier, this is based on Ayu from Canon, so it has those same wings coming out. And the nice thing about Gekka is that she is holding 2 omelets, which then creates a nice pose, and you can see that she's drawn on one of them as well, so this is really nice. And her apron and skirt, the pleats and frills here look very nice. The flow is very natural and the sculpting is very nice, so I definitely think they've done a good job there. As for her boots, they've replicated these quite nicely. They are painted with ever so slightly glossier paint, so the fabric looks different to the rest of her outfit. And the ribbons are also very neatly painted despite them being so tiny. As for the table and chairs, I am very glad that she came with these, since I felt that the previous figure in this line, which was Karasuba, that she didn't really come with enough. I know that she does come with a table and also a speaker, but it just felt a little bit empty compared to Haizakura, who had come out before. So it was very nice that Gekka came with 2 chairs and a table. It is a shame that there is nothing on said table, but she is holding 2 omelets, and the table and chairs themselves are actually behind her, so you can't really see that there isn't anything on the table in the first place. I think maybe there could have been a little bit more texture on the table though. It's completely plain, and I think that maybe a wooden texture would have suited it quite nicely. And as for the base, this is, like I said before, the same base that Haizakura and Karasuba also have. The only difference with this one is that it is ever so slightly bigger in size, just to fit the table and chairs there at the back. I noticed with Karasuba that the cogs on her base were ever so slightly a different colour. And I have tried comparing the bases, and it doesn't seem that Gekka's base is all that different to Karasuba. I think what might have happened, Haizakura came out in 2021, whereas Karasuba came out 2 years later in 2023. So I wonder if they originally planned to make the cogs like this, but then 2 years passed and they actually changed their mind, and now they're continuing to make each base the same colour, but Haizakura's doesn't have that colour because she was made 2 years before. I'm not too sure what happened there. It does stick out ever so slightly. I'm not sure why that happened, but it'll be interesting to see if the next two girls have a slight difference with their base as well. But apart from that, you can see that everything is pretty much the same. The only difference is that Gekka's base is quite a bit larger. And that concludes my review of the 1/7 scale figure of Gekka from Prima Doll by Kotobukiya and Ki. And I have to say, I think this is definitely my favourite of the three so far. She definitely suits a figure much more than the other two did. Not that that's the fault of the artists or anything, I just think that Kotobukiya did a really good job at making Gekka look really good in 3D, and the hair in particular, I think, translates a lot more easily into 3D than perhaps the other two did. I'm very, very pleased with how Gekka turned out, with the slightly larger base and more things behind her rather than just off to the side. I think that looks really good as well. Hopefully they do the same with the other two if and when they get announced. I'll be very interested to see how Hokiboshi and Reitseru look and what kind of pose and accessories they decide to go with. But overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to check out my other reviews of both Haizakura and Karasuba, who are also in this series, and I hope to see you all in the next video.